All right, y'all. So I'm coming today to announce a change on the channel. You're gonna see a lot less normal stuff. Not that I really posted much, but a lot more like changing my stuff up. You're gonna see more of my interests, like Yu-Gi-Oh and Scream, and just everything really I'm interested in. Stuff that I like to study a lot. So enjoy. I'm gonna be going over Scream killers and how good they are. Enjoy. So we start off the list with a killer that a lot of people would consider their favorite or the best. Now, I do disagree with him being the best. Neither is he my favorite, but he does have a lot of pros. He's really smart. He can be manipulative. He managed to manipulate Sydney throughout the almost the entirety of the movie, even having her doubting like to the last minute that he was the killer. He's really nuts though. I mean, he only has really one motivation, and that's Sydney's mom. And then even after he kills Sydney's mom, it's not enough. He's got to go after Sydney. It just seems like he got a craving for killing after killing Marine while being influenced by Roman Bridger. Um, I just think that Billy, he's a good killer. I don't think he's great. I think he's just good. He's got a lot of skills, um, but he's lacking the it factor, I think. He's very charismatic though, so I will give him that. I think he's a good killer. I don't think he's as good as a lot of other killers, but I think he's getting there. Now, with Stu, he actually, for some reason, has a lot more to talk about than Billy. Stu doesn't really have like a big old motivation. I think he's a lot crazier than Billy just because he doesn't have a reason. His reason for killing Casey Becker was him like his pure evil, but also because she dumped him for Steve. And I think that just makes like someone dumps you, so you're gonna kill him. And you if you see the Easter egg in Scream One where it shows a note from his mom or something where it says sorry we missed your birthday, Stu, or whatever. Um, it seems like he goes through a lot of abandonment issues. His parents are never home, so he's kind of like this rich kid that doesn't know what to do with himself. So he just takes it out on people, and he's an overall interesting killer because he's a powerhouse. He's not that smart, but he is a powerhouse. He likes to joke around, and he doesn't really have much emotion when it comes to things. Um, he is shocked by Billy, though. I do think Billy had a lot of influence over Stu joining him, but overall, Stu is just a powerhouse, and I think Stu's a great killer. I think as a killer, he is better than Billy. Um, but he puts in that work. I think Stu is one of the better killers of the franchise. I really do. He's just an overall really good killer, and I enjoy watching. Mickey Altieri he is one of the more interesting ones. There's a lot more to talk about with Mickey because he was already planning on killing people. He didn't become Ghostface out of some problem with Sydney. He became Ghostface because Nancy asked him to avenge Billy. And the thing that makes him interesting is all these people he was killing, he didn't really have a problem with. He was still friends with these kids. He was having fun with them. It's just he just wanted to get through college and have a trial, and he wanted to get caught. That's the main thing with him is he wanted to get caught. And I think he is a little egotistical, but I think he is one of the most psychotic out of all of them. Um, he's I don't know, man. He's just a very interesting character. I think he is one of the best killers just because he doesn't really have a motive. I mean, he wants to get caught, but he's just there for Sydney because Nancy Loomis wanted him to be, and he did most of the killing. He did almost all of the killing, actually. He was running around slicing, man. And he's just an overall really interesting character because he it's the way he went about things. He didn't have a problem with any of these people. He just killed, and he had like this fantasy for doing so. He just really liked killing people, and he had this manipulative strategy, and he was really good at blending in with people. He was friends with like everybody, and he was really good at blending in with people, which caused people to lower their guard around him. And he was able to plant the seed in Sydney's mind that maybe it could be Derek or something like that. It's just Mickey is one of the most manipulative and one of the most efficient scream killers, in my opinion. One of the best ghost faces, at least top five. Well, that's not saying much, like top tier. all of them, I think Nancy is she has the least to go over, I feel like, because she only had one motive, and that was to avenge Billy. But the role she played for how little she did was really good. She was a main role, and she only killed one person, and that was Randy. She let Mickey do the rest, and let Mickey wanted Mickey to take the fall for everything. Well, she was a mastermind behind it all. I think she was a very good ghost face, even though she didn't kill that much. I think she was very good at what she did. Now we have the man that in Scream lore started it all, Roman Bridger. I think Roman Bridger is an interesting one. Um, I'm not gonna like critique him because of the movie he was in. But him starting everything and turning out to be Sydney's long lost brother sounds kind of cringe, but I feel like they did it nicely. And this is the only killer I think that Sydney well, that had to do with Sydney that she didn't really know, not counting five because Sydney was just there to help. But this is like the only one Sydney didn't really know of. But it also had the most emotional impact on her. I think I think this is the only killer that she felt sympathy for. As you see her holding his hand, and he was really good at his job, being able to do all of it solo. Props to him. Faking his own death the first time that happened in the Scream franchise. He did a very good job at it. He managed to outsmart everybody, and I think that was really good. And unlike Billy, he didn't have a partner to bail him out when he was being suspected. He just kind of did it. He was really smart, and he did his thing really well. Top tier Ghostface, in my opinion, not because of the movie, just because of him. See, now we move on to Jill Roberts, and she is, in my opinion, the most egotistical out of all these Scream killers, but also like one of the most smart. She came up with the whole plan, let Charlie do all the work. She only got two kills in that movie. No matter what you say, she only killed Charlie and Trevor. Charlie did the rest. She let Charlie do the rest because it was beneficial to her to have the least amount of blood on her hands as possible. But the problem with her is her plan was kind of a glass cannon. Like she focused too much on one thing, but it all fell apart when Sydney survived or something like that. Like Sydney needed to die for her plan to work, and the way she went about it just didn't work. And I think she ended up being a little too egotistical when she killed Charlie. If she would have left Charlie alive, I believe her plan would have worked. Her and Charlie could have just chilled. I think her plan would have worked, but she got greedy and she wanted to be the only one, so she killed Charlie, and that's what made her plan all fall apart. She lost the brawn of her team and Charlie's brain too. So she got greedy and killed the other half of her team, which did all the work. Now it's time for Charlie Walker, in my opinion, probably up there for the best Ghostface. It's debatable, but Charlie did a lot of work as Ghostface. He probably showcased the most inhuman strength, and that was probably just because of sloppy writing on Scream 4's part. But like, I can't help but love this movie just because Charlie is such an interesting killer. Charlie he's so nerdy, but he's a powerhouse, like a powerhouse that'll beat people like Roman and Stu. He kills almost everybody, and he has, I think, either the second or the highest kill count out of all the ghost faces because he does everything. Um, he makes the plans, he films it all, and he does it so efficiently. He does it efficiently and flawlessly, and he manages to get away every single time. He orchestrates every attack like they need to be, and he's very, very smart. Up there with Jill in terms of IQ, and battle IQ. He's pretty cool. I think he's a very underrated killer, and a lot of people don't like him. I just think what he did as Ghostface is one of the most like he put in a lot of work. He put in more work than people like even Billy. He put a lot more work in than Billy did. And he was very orchestrated and he was always in control of the situation. He was very, as I said, he's very efficient. He didn't really let things slide past him. He was always doing his job the way it needed to be done, just so he did everything Jill wanted him to do better than she wanted him to do it. Jill was always the one calling, while he was the one doing all the work. Jill would give him the sign and he'd go. Um, And when he went and did his thing, he he did it well. And I mean, it sucks Jill stabbed him, because if Jill didn't kill Charlie, I genuinely believe that that plan would have worked and Sydney would have died. Um, and because Charlie was right there, he was about to kill Sydney, but she stopped him. And I believe they could have framed it on Trevor and all that, but Jill had to get greedy, and I think that's what led to the downfall, is her killing Charlie. Charlie is a contender for the best Ghostface in my opinion. I don't understand why a lot of people don't like him. I think he's very underrated and top tier. Okay, Richie Kirsch kicking off Stream 5. I like Richie as a killer. I think he's a very unique killer though. He um what makes him different from all the other killers is he just kind of goes with the flow. He's very manipulative, up there like one of the most manipulative killers. Because I don't care what anybody says, he was the brain um team but behind Team Ghostface in Scream 5. He I think he manipulated Amber into doing what he wanted, and he let Amber. There's a really he's more a lot more than efficient than Amber is. He is very orchestrated with how he attacks. He goes straight for the neck in lethal spots. He's very efficient, and I think he's just crazy. Like you can tell by the picture that's on screen right now. Like when he was having the gun pointed at Sam, he was enjoying it. I think he's a mixture of a thrill killer and everything else. I think he's just very smart and good at what he did. And as I said, he didn't really try to control it. He went with the flow, which I think is smart because it kind of leaves less evidence pointing towards him, and for most people they didn't even know it was Richie until like the end sequence, because Richie was so good at covering his tracks. um and he was always, you could always tell when it was Richie's work versus Amber, and Richie was almost always the one on the phone because he was a lot more controlled. He could reel in his emotions. um and he had fun toying with people, while Amber was a lot more aggressive. She was like a lot more with the threats, and she kind of had like a personal beef with whoever she was on the phone with. Well, Richie was just kind of he was just kind of there, and he did his thing. He did it well. Um, he's one of my favorites just because he has a specific charisma, a charisma like Billy and Stu. He has that type of charisma, and he make like the audience likes him as a dude, and I think as a killer, like when he says "I know sucks, it's me," like it genuinely does suck because you like him a lot throughout the story, and he's very efficient at what he does. He's not sloppy like Amber. Amber's really sloppy with her work. Richie is not. Richie makes sure to do his thing and do it well. And he kind of just he doesn't really like getting all gory. He kind of just likes getting it over with. Like I don't think he enjoys killing as much as a lot of the other ghost faces do. I don't think he enjoys the killing part. I think he just likes the ideas that it provides. Um, so he was definitely the brain behind Team Ghostface and Scream 5, and he did his job. He got in there, and I think he has one of the highest IQs out of the ghost faces just because he was able to go with the flow and adapt well. Now, I don't really like Amber as Ghostface just because she's not smart. She attacks frantically and she's always, I don't know. It seems like Richie has the plans and Amber kind of carries them out sometimes, but she's not she doesn't have the efficiency needed. Like she couldn't kill Tara, she couldn't kill Chad. She just doesn't have the efficiency that she needs. She's sloppy. She doesn't do her job right, but she did kill Dewdrop. It's sad, but I don't like Amber as Ghostface, and there's not much to really talk about. She's sloppy. I think she's one of the worst ghost faces. But not as bad as the next ones. Let's be completely honest, not as bad. And now we get to the lowest of the low. I don't like these killers. They're not original. It's been done before. I mean, their reveal was bad. And the significance of their kills, like it doesn't make sense. They're not really smart. They just kind of get lucky. Like Detective Bailey, he just does his thing. He fakes Quinn's death, but it's so obvious because Quinn's death happened off screen. You know it's faking the death because the only other time that really happened was with Roman Bridger, and voila, he was Ghostface. Ethan, I think, was the most surprising of the bunch just because he had an alibi, but Detective Bailey, you could tell just by the switch in the mood. He was grieving and then he wasn't grieving. Quinn was just kind of gone, but it happened off screen, and Ethan was just doing his thing. Like I don't like these killers. They're not good, bad. They're really bad. Hey, I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement. Well, not an announcement, just a correction. Of me calling Richie a thrill killer. He is not a thrill killer at all. It completely contradict I contradict the statement later on. He kills just for the idea of it, and I forgot to mention Billy is really egotistical as well. All right, y'all. That's it. I enjoyed doing this just because I have a lot of other knowledge on Scream. If you want me to do deep dives into specific characters and what I think about their psyche, like their mind and how it works and what they enjoy doing, let me know. But I really enjoyed this, and everyone have a good day.